has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seed, the burgundy, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fat and shaking up, along with the Tutty and Tater King himself, and the founder of the Aisle Seat podcast, the rights holder of the Sheet of Integrity, that put it with a golf guru. It's Carver High this afternoon, ladies. Mafia is running it with Luke. I am your father. The rundown on a misery Monday from the Big Apple. We've got a double shot with Morency from Vancouver, British Columbia this very hour, and within the walls of this hour, our good friend Joe Beninati, the voice of the Washington Capitals, talking about Alex Ovechkin's passing Wayne Gretzky on Sunday, just like Carver High said, at the horse track against the Islanders. And then in the second hour, we'll talk to Coach James Young as we get ready for tonight's national championship game. But I got to tell you, Mike, I saw Gretzky do it when he passed Gordie Howe. And I'll never forget it. I said it to you last week. I'll never forget Bob Miller. There it is! And yesterday, I was watching as it happened again, and 30 years later, whatever it is. And I just thought it was fantastic. I'm a hockey fanatic. I like Ovechkin. I've obviously had a budding rivalry with him for his entire career against the Penguins and Crosby. But I was still super stoked for him. I thought it was great. He's a great player, great sniper, great person, great off the ice, great on the ice, great teammate. He's a cup champion. And to see what he did was spectacular. And then when he dove on the ice, the whole thing, the shutdown of the game for a half an hour. And I thought the crowd at the horse track was just phenomenal, cheering him on, albeit a mix of Caps and Islander fans. They all respect greatness and thought it was awesome. And, Gretzky there, Bettman there, all the celebrities that congratulated him literally thanking every person that works there, hugging every person that works there. And then, the whole deal. He did every interview afterwards, after the game. He had to somehow put a new jersey on and play the rest of that game, and they lost. But I just thought it was a special day. It was a really good day for business for the NHL.
It certainly was, and happy Monday here. It was quite the scene. I talked to several people who were at the game, obviously, being that it was at the horse track and it was the Islanders and whatnot. I had a lot of people tell me they were offered pretty big bucks to give up their tickets for yesterday's game. But I know we talk about things have gotten so expensive in going to sporting events and whatnot. It's hard to put a price on not going to that yesterday, because that's something that it's such a special moment if you're a huge hockey fan to be in attendance and seeing that. And you're right, the Islander fans did do a great job because they were into it. They understood the moment. They respected the moment. And they gave him his just due. I didn't know they were going to pull the whole carpet out and stop for half an hour, 45 minutes when it happened. That was a little strange. I know Wah was a little, they stopped for a long time after. He had to know that was going to go on. They didn't just pull that out of thin air.
They won the game. It was
a great moment.
Who cares?
They won the game, so he could shut up. It was an awesome moment. Really cool. Something that a lot of us probably thought, 895 goals, all these records that Gretzky has, is that ever going to get touched? He touched it all right, and he did an unbelievable job with it. Congrats to him. And now he's got, I think the best thing, too, about him doing it this early with a week and a half to go,
right.
Now he can kind of reset himself, not have to worry about this record, because here's the sidebar. The Caps have the best record in the Eastern Conference and have a chance to maybe go win another Stanley Cup, and he can focus on that now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And he's just going to keep scoring goals, and I think he's going to keep playing I think he's going to, obviously not hang him up. He's still too good at what he does. So's Crosby. I was reading an article today about how Malkin's not in that ilk anymore, that he's shot and finished, while these two guys look the same as they did 15 years ago. And they are a good team. And they do have a shot at going to the Eastern Conference Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. That's how good they've been. I just think he's a really special, unique player. His snipe ability is unquestioned. His strength on that power play is unquestioned. And everyone loves him. I thought it was great, the fans chanting Ovi out of respect. And look, it took 30 years, right, to do it. Yeah. I think it might take 30 years to do it again, and if ever. But they said his would never be broken, and it was. So I think anything's possible with guys like Connor McDavid around and Draisaitl and guys that score tons of goals. My thing is, will I be alive to see the next one? Like I'm 60 almost here this summer, and we get older. In 30 years, I don't think I'll be around to see the next one, to see how have his record passed, and to see Gretzky have his record passed by this guy. I think it'll be the last one I ever see of that magnitude.
Look, I think the only guy who's playing right now who could probably get there, judging by what the projections and the numbers that they give you, is because he started so young and he's already amassed so many, is Austin Matthews. Now, that would be him staying healthy for a long time, but when you've piled up already 50, 60, 70 goal seasons, he's off to quite the start. Now, he gets hurt a lot, too. That's his problem. So I don't know if that's going to be help him in the long run, but he's off to a trajectory where they said if he kept playing in like 2031 or something like that, he could get there. He could get close to the number if he kept playing. Somewhere in that.
In 6 years?
Well, you're talking 7, 8 at this point. And where's Matthews at right now? Let me just quickly tell you how many he's got at this point.
I don't even see believe
where
that.
He is.
Look, he gets injured too much to have that many games and goals.
He's got 398 goals already. He's got 398, and he's 27 years old. So that's just you're just going by.
Well, I guess, he's got if he plays, he could do it.
He got to play 80 games a year. That's the one thing. Ovi was a horse. He's always out there, and he was always playing. Matthews is, he gets injuries, but he's already he's at 400 by the end of this season. So 10 more years in the league, if he could pop a bunch of... See, Ovi was so consistent every year. How many 50-goal seasons the guy's got? So I think it's still tough for Matthews to do, but I think he's the only guy playing right now who maybe has a chance to do it.
So he's almost got 400. He needs 500 more goals, basically.
Yeah, he basically needs 500 more, and he's played 623 games, and he's got 398 goals. And both Gretzky and Ovi are 1497? Is that what it was with the games played? Oh, both. How sick is that too? That they both played the same amount of games to get to the number. That's so bizarre. Crazy. When you think about that. So you have all of that. We'll do, of course, a lot of the Ovi today. We've got a national championship tonight with Florida and Houston. What a melt by Duke on Saturday night in the second half of that game. One bucket in the last 10 minutes. Wild.
There's only one game I've ever seen like it, where Syracuse was up 13 with 3 minutes to go against Indiana. And Indiana won the national championship and beat them by 1. All I know is that was what it clearly for me was. I'm going to put it at number 2 of all-time meltdowns. Like they absolutely melted down. They scored 1 basket in the last 10 and a half minutes. And someone said it to me today best that that guy from French Lick would have made that shot. Larry Bird would have made that shot.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
He'll never stop shooting a basketball the rest of his life. All he's going to do is become one of those old, famous ex-players that's in the Hall of Fame, that's a legend, that shows up at games, just like his dad did. His dad shows up at games. His dad was never as good as he is. And his brother is the lost soul. Like, they don't even care about his broke ass. This guy, Steph Curry, can play forever.
Ferrall, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. 4 number ones, 4 champions, 4 teams that battled and clawed their way here. But here's the thing about 4 number ones. Only one can truly be number one.
Incredibly difficult.
When the stakes are highest, there's only one place to get all your betting insights. SportsGrid. We've got you covered until only one remains. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You can catch Sports Rage weeknights at 10 Eastern along all of our TV and radio outlets. You catch Morency on Coast to Coast every day from Vancouver. So you heard me maybe talking about it. I saw, Gretzky do it. I remember the game. I remember watching it live when it happened. And then I watched this thing when it happened. And I just thought it was just fantastic. I just love hockey so much. And then we started talking about who could catch him. And Mike's convinced it's Austin Matthews, and apparently you are as well. And I want to know if you think McDavid and Draisaitl, who are 2 years older, Draisaitl 1 year older, McDavid, if either one of them can do it.
I think Austin Matthews is the one. I think you look at McDavid, you look at Draisaitl, great players. Draisaitl's been doing it for a long time. It really is amazing. It's not easy to score goals in the National Hockey League. Like, it really is not. So it's an incredible accomplishment, but I think it would surprise people to see that Austin Matthews, how high he is, the neighborhood that he is in, Scott, right now. Like, he averages more goals per game than Wayne Gretzky and Ovechkin did. Ovechkin and Gretzky, 0.60 goals per game. Matthews averages a goal 0.64. There's only 2 players in NHL history that are in the 70s, Scott. And one of them, you could say he's the best goal scorer ever, but he didn't play long enough. But the amount of games that he played and the goals that he scored is Mike Bossy, right? Mike Bossy averaged a goal 0.76. The only one close, Scott, Mario, who doesn't get the love that he deserves for one reason or another compared to a lot of these other players. Mario, 0.75, which is pretty crazy. 75% of the time games, Mario scored a goal, all right? And 76% of the time, Bossy scored.
So
OV's at 60%.
I used to go to the games, right? So I've been friends with Mario since the day he was drafted. And I have never seen anything in my life like watching that guy play hockey on a daily basis, like every day, right? And I was like watching him, and he was doing things that only Gretzky had done. And all I know is back then when he was healthy, we all thought, everyone in Pittsburgh thought, sportscasters, whoever, sports writers, they all thought that he was going to break all of his records. And then he got cancer. and then he got the bad back, and then he still put up ungodly, staggering numbers, even with cancer and a bad back. But I think that, I swear to God, man, I got to tell you, if he would have never got that cancer and that back problem, I think he would have done it on his own. I've never seen anyone in my life score goals the way that guy did. And he was a freight train. Like when he got going with that big body of his, he was really moving. And he would carry guys into the net and score with 3-4 guys hanging off of him. It was like nothing I've ever seen. Gretzky wasn't that type of player.
Well, Gretzky didn't really ever get touched. It was a different era.
Right.
Mario, you're right. Mario was like one of the first superstars to just get like physically abused.
Mauled.
He was a big target, so he was easier to get to, and it was a different era. They're used to, Wayne was protected. Let's call it out for what it is, point blank. I mean, right? There was sort of a code like in the old days, not just with Wayne, but you don't touch the superstars, right? Well, Mike Bossy didn't get hit very often either, right? It was just that's what it was. It was like, listen, those guys shoot. Let them shoot. If you want to fight, you fight with someone who wants to fight. Leave the star players alone, and there was a code to it. Like, Sidney Crosby hasn't played in that, Scott. Like, Sidney Crosby was getting hit over the head with sticks in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League when he was a teenager, right? Like, Crosby's just been abused. McDavid's been abused, right? So something about Ovechkin, too, that's pretty awesome, actually, is that he's only like 235 hits short of most hits ever in the National Hockey League, Scott.
I know, because he's a bruiser.
Scores the goals and hits you. Physical player, right?
Yeah.
It's a great accomplishment, but does Matthews do it? I'm going to say yes. Matthews seems to me like the type of guy that's probably going to play to about 40, Scott. He's only 30. He's only 27 right now, right? I mean, we're talking about 10, 13 years. Let's say he plays another 10 years. Be hard for him. He'd have to average over 50 goals a year for 10 years straight, which sounds like kind of insane. But let's say he plays like 13 years, Scott. Another 12, 13 years. He's already at 398, right? I mean, we're a year and a half or two away from 500, and then he's cut it in half.
He gets injured too much?
No, I'm going to say he gets injured too much because he still puts up big numbers, right? A lot of it's about the game, Scott, right? How do they call the game? Do they loosen things up in future years? Like one thing this year, guys, it's harder to score goals this year in the National Hockey League. They're not calling penalties. Like penalties are greatly down. Teams are not getting as many power plays. Like the Canucks had like 60 less power plays. Not like they're doing anything less. If you watch an NHL game, the referees are letting a lot of stuff go.
Maybe
stuff
that's why they're losing so much.
Well, if they were, like there's a lot of little tripping and stuff, Scott, they're not calling now. Like there's just sort of little things. There was a study about this. Like penalties are way, way down. So it's not easy to score in the National Hockey League. And one last thing about this, like, the NHL as a whole, when Wayne Gretzky played, averaged a full goal a game, more per game. Like Gretzky, like it was a track meet era, right? I mean, there were a bunch of dudes scoring 70 goals every year in those years. It's harder to score now. It just is. I think it's a little easier now than it was, let's say, 5-10 years ago. But, it sort of goes in cycles, right? So if Matthews is around long enough, he'll sort of be the benefactor of different rule changes. Right. But the kid can put the puck in the net, bro, point blank. And the thing that's holding Matthews back a little bit, too, is he plays on such a good team. Let's be real. The Capitals have been bad a lot. I know he won a cup, but a lot of it's been he can just score goals. It's about him. The Leafs is not about Matthews. They're trying to win a freaking Stanley Cup, so it's a little bit different as well. Like if Matthews was on the Coyotes or something, this kid could score like 65 every year if he just shot all the time.
I think it is they never win the cup ever. I was 2 years old when they won the cup.
But I don't think they're going to win it this year either.
They never do.
It's hard to buy into a team. Yeah. They're the Buffalo Bills of the NHL. It pains me to say it, but they're the same.
Why do they never get it done with all that talent? It's amazing to me. It's almost like watching Duke not win for the last 10 years.
You figure at some point, Scott, you're right. The old, like, the blind squirrel finds a nut type of thing. Like
UConn, they finally won it again.
Yeah, well, the page is awesome.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that rhythm. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
He'll never stop shooting a basketball the rest of his life. All he's going to do is become one of those old, famous ex-players that's in the Hall of Fame, that's a legend, that shows up at games, just like his dad did. His dad shows up at games. His dad was never as good as he is. And his brother is the lost soul. Like, they don't even care about his broke ass. This guy, Steph Curry, can play forever.
Ferrall, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. 4 number ones, 4 champions, 4 teams that battled and clawed their way here. But here's the thing about 4 number ones. Only one can truly be number one.
Incredibly difficult.
When the stakes are highest, there's only one place to get all your betting insights. SportsGrid. We've got you covered until only one remains. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So we'll go backwards here and tell them what you're doing tonight at 8:30 onward during the national championship game. And then who do you like?
Well, we've got the studio crew will be at the Bellworks Studios doing their thing, but we got an alternate broadcast tonight, Sirius XM, and on SportsGrid On Demand on YouTube. We haven't been on that in a couple of months, actually. Or we did it like for NFL playoff games. We've done some big events and big games on SportsGrid On Demand on YouTube. So we're going to be on live tonight, guys. I know everybody always loves the YouTube chat, and people like to get after it during these games. So title game tonight. I can't believe that Duke blew the lead that they did, Scott. I'm still like, wow. Like, wow. Give credit to Houston. Those guys, like, they didn't quit. They didn't tap out. They didn't panic. They could have, right? They could have panicked, but they didn't. And they outscored them 11-0. Down the stretch. Duke like hit one shot in the last 10 minutes of the game. And leading into tonight, I mean, Florida looks so good, but I can't go against Houston, Scott. I'm gonna hang the hat on Samson being here so many times and coming up short. I like this Houston team all year, actually, and I have them on my bracket. But I will admit I bet on Duke the other night. But I do have Houston in my bracket, so it's not like, oh, I can't believe Houston have made it this far. No, I believe in them. I also believed in the Florida Gators, but I think that it's such a toss-up, Scott. I mean, the point spread is what it is for a reason, but give me the Houston Cougars tonight.
So I had the Cougars in the 5, but I thought Duke would win the game and not cover to meet. And then I lost outright with Auburn. So I agree with you. I got to be honest. I had this feeling today like Florida would win and cover, and I still would be rooting for Houston. I thought all along Houston and Duke were the 2 best defensive teams in America, and what they did to Duke, they strangled them to death. They literally strangled them to death in the last 11 minutes of that game. So let me ask you about Vladdy's deal. He, finally got it done with the Jays. He's not leaving Toronto, and he got, a fat deal.
This had to happen for the Toronto Blue Jay organization. I don't know if it's their fault. I think they get blamed for it a little bit much that And maybe they should put the fires out, like, before the media, like, goes, like their fans thinking, oh, we might get Ohtani, we might get Soto. I think the Blue Jays would be better off saying, no, I don't know where this is coming from. Like, no, we're not even close. Like, I don't know where, like, they sort of let this stuff build up a little bit, and they've come up short, right? And I think Blue Jay fans overreacted to it. What, you're not upset you didn't get Soto? Like, why was he going to leave L.A., right? He didn't even move houses. Right? Soto, whatever. Everyone knew Soto was going to end up at the Mets. They tried. It is what it is. So there's negativity about the Blue Jays, despite them having the fourth highest payroll in baseball. So it's not like they don't try to win. Spending like $234 million, guys. They're spending money. This is big time. I think the Jays could have paid a little bit less if they pulled the trigger earlier. Vlad saw the big deal with Ohtani, and he saw them offer Soto that type of money. And he figured, well, all right, if you guys are going to want to pay those guys $750 million a year, then you should give me $600. And I think the Jays are lucky that they got away with this for $500, actually, when it was all said and done. So they've got him locked up right now. But more importantly, Scott, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, it calms the fan base down a little bit now. You've got your best player under contract. Now, this sends a sign to Bo Bichette, who's a free agent. There's been a lot of talk about, I think Bo's going to want to test the market. He still might. But Bo and Vlad are pretty close. They've come up through the Blue Jay farm system together. Now that Vlad got paid, they can move on to Bo getting paid now. And not to mention, Scott, in the offseason this year, the Blue Jays did get Santander, but there was a lot of agents and players, specifically Dominican guys. Vlad's buddies with all these guys. And they knew. They were like, man, I don't want to sign with the Jays, man, and then Vlad's going to leave or something next year, right? Big. That's big. Now Vlad's under contract. Now he can tell his boys that he knows on the Dominican Republic team and stuff. Hey, listen, man, I'm here for 14 years, guys, if you want to come play. Makes a big difference, Scott. So big deal for the Blue Jays.
I mean, and I got to tell you, I think they got the price tag right. I think he's right where he should be.
Yeah, I think it's a fair deal for both teams, for both parties. Right, he's happy. You got $500 million, kid. You know what I mean?
I tell you,
is it a bad day? You got $500 million. You got $500 million, and we got a star player for 14 years. Let's shake hands and go win some baseball games.
Yeah,
right?
no doubt. So hopefully it'll be a great game tonight. You'll be on SportsGrid TV and on YouTube and on SportsGrid Radio. Should be awesome. All right, thanks, Marin.
Looking for an edge in betting basketball? Injuries can make or break a game. Get insider knowledge from Dr. David Chow and the team of experts with Sick Picks at Sports Injury Central. We reveal hidden health-based advantages the sports books miss. Our doctors provide insights, and our algorithm tells you who to bet on. Spreads, props, totals, in-game bets, Sick Picks covers it all. Go to SickScore.com and sign up for Sick Picks and use the promo code SportsGrid for a free week today.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I always love hooking up with Joe Beninati, the legendary voice of the Capitals. And I got to tell you, Joe, like, I think I've talked to you about this before. Like when I was living in LA when Gretzky did it, and I was just such a fan of Bob Miller's, and I got to call the Thrashers for a season. It meant the world to me to be able to do it, and I'd never called a game before in my life. But I love hockey so much that I was like, I walked away from a lot of money to do it. And people said I was crazy. I was stupid. What are you doing? You're walking away from national syndicate. I said, I like hockey more than I like money. I said, I like hockey more than money. So you can think whatever you want of me. Everyone said I was crazy and I was wild and I was over the top and everything. I heard everything. But all I know was I told you about Mike Lang, what he meant to me, Bob Miller, what he meant to me, what you mean to me. I'm a huge fan of yours. It couldn't happen to greater guys than you and Bob Miller and Alex Ovechkin, guys like that, and Gretzky. Now, I didn't know Wayne at the time. At the time, I was just doing a national show, and I was a fan. So when I heard Bob Miller say, "There it is," I was like, and he was running on his skates. I thought it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. And then yesterday, when I saw him diving on the ice and sliding, I just thought it was like reminiscing all over again, just the greatest moments of my life, watching it. Even a guy that's been an arch rival of mine with the Penguins my entire life.
Scotty, you honor me when you put me in the same sentence with Mike Lang and Bob Miller. And there's a reason why I love visiting with you on this show, and it's because I know about your passion for the sport and for the play-by-play craft. And to have everything fall just the way it did in the last 3-4 days, it's a sign that the hockey gods wanted it to be that way, that it was meant to be, that it landed on Monumental Sports Network in a live show, that Craig Laughlin was back from significant heart surgery to be there in the booth with us. It all lined up so perfectly. And the goals that he scored and that he has scored throughout the last 20 years have been so breathtaking. And so many of them are similar, one-time slap shots from the left circle. So many of them are overpowering, the way that 895 went in, that you pray for those moments selfishly as an announcer. If this is going to be the one, let it be clean and clear. Let me see the net bulge. Let there be no doubt. Let there be no goalie interference or potential offside challenge. And it lined up perfectly for us. And it was a magical environment. I can't explain to you how good Friday night was when he tied the great one in DC. That was pretty much close to Stanley Cup final fever pitch, only happy. There was no anxiety there. There was no, are we going to win this, lose this? It was all about an individual player's moment. He scores in the first 5 minutes of the game, and everybody is buzzing. There were chances for him to get the record that night with a hat trick, which really would have been storybook. But the way it turned out yesterday, droves, and I mean Capitals fans by the thousands inside of the arena at UBS. It was magical, and it's something obviously that's once in a lifetime for me, and could very well last a lifetime.
Well, we were doing the show Friday night, and we were predicting that he would have a Hattie. I said he's going to have 3 tonight playing that team. And then Carver High said, no, he's going to do it at the horse track on Sunday. He had said that all along. I got to tell you, when he did it, I got choked up.
Yeah.
What was it like for you? I don't even I respect him so much as an enemy of my team, but I hated the Islanders, but I respected Mike Bossy so much. And I respect this guy so much that I got all I got all flustered, and my daughter was like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "Get out! Get out of the room!" Like, you have no idea what it means to someone that loves the game as much as you and I do. What did it do to your soul, to your body? Did you get weird or funky, Joe?
Oh, it's nerve-wracking and teary-eyed for sure. Teary-eyed for sure on Friday, without a doubt. And every time the cameras landed on Alex's boys, Sergey and Ilya, every time the camera landed on Alex's mom, Tatiana, wife, Nastya, you can't help but think of Mikhail, Alex's dad, who gave me more than a few big bear hugs over the last 2 decades while his son was doing such incredible work on the ice, and who loved the game the way we all do. This is a crowning achievement. It's an individual achievement. Alex is all about team. I think at the end, it's so humbling, and you want to, there's a 23-minute, 24-minute ceremony, and all the while I know the competitor in Ovechkin is saying, can we please get back to the game? He appreciated what the Islanders did for him yesterday.
Right.
I heard Sidney Crosby's comments, a good 90-second to 2-minute rip of comments, the mutual respect that he shared with the grade 8. And those two kids, those two guys who are soon to be pushing 40 years old, they came in at a rough time in 2005 and 6. They had a lot of responsibilities put on their shoulders, and they've overachieved. They've been world-class ambassadors, Sid and Alex, and they know what each other has gone through. And to see and listen to Sidney react and marvel at what Alex has done, it's truly, it's close to superhuman. 895 goals.
It's crazy. So let me ask you twofold, because he's going to keep going, and they have a shot to win the Stanley Cup again. I know you think they're good enough, and I can't even believe the similarities between your boy Laughlin and I. We both had open heart surgery. I had both of my valves explode off of my heart. I saw him in his cardiac unit, and I know what he's been through. What was it like for you to have him out of the booth going through that as your friend? And I certainly hope you'll send my regards and tell him I know what it's like to be in that bed and to be in that situation. It's very scary. I went through it.
I promise you I'll give him those words, and bless you both. I mean, the last, he had the surgery, Locker did, on February 4th, and Alan May did a fabulous job jumping in. We threw him into the deep end. He did more than just swim. He survived and really thrived in it. And all the while, Alan will be the first to tell you he wanted Craig to be back by the time Ovi accomplished this achievement. And it's amazing. There were so many moments from yesterday that will be burned into these retinas for the rest of my life. But the one that stood out the most was the big bear hug Alex gave Locker after the game outside of the team dressing room. Locker said, wait for me, wait for me. Alex waited for him to do it and then did it when he was back on his watch. Again, there's so many things that are fairy tales and storybooks about this, but that to me meant the world, because I know what Locker's been through. You do personally. Yeah. And there are many people out there who know how much goes into coming back from those types of surgeries. And nowadays, whatever it is that the doctors and the cardiac care teams do, they do it so very, very well. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know Locker had an issue beforehand, and you wouldn't know in the 5 to 6 games that we've done since. He's himself. I couldn't be more happy.
Yeah, it's just crazy. God bless him. I'm so happy that he made it through it. They saved my life. I know I wear a heart monitor on my wrist that says 30 minutes morgue. That's my nickname. And that guy saved my life, and I'll never forget it. He acted like he was making a ham sandwich, but he cut through my chest and saved my life. Tell Locke I love him. Congrats. Great job on the call, Joe. You're the best. I'm super proud of you. Now go win another Stanley Cup, all right?
That'd be fun. Thank you, Scotty, for sharing time today. I appreciate it.
Joe Beninati, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
He'll never stop shooting a basketball the rest of his life. All he's going to do is become one of those old, famous ex-players that's in the Hall of Fame, that's a legend, that shows up at games, just like his dad did. His dad shows up at games. His dad was never as good as he is. And his brother is the lost soul. Like, they don't even care about his broke ass. This guy, Steph Curry, can play forever.
Ferrall, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. 4 number ones, 4 champions, 4 teams that battled and clawed their way here. But here's the thing about 4 number ones. Only one can truly be number one.
Incredibly difficult.
When the stakes are highest, there's only one place to get all your betting insights. SportsGrid. We've got you covered until only one remains. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Yeah, I was just telling you, Carver High, I was excited, to even talk about that with Joe, about what Locke's been through. And I've been through it. And then I've been getting better, over since it happened in November 17th of 23. Today they took me off one more of the medications. So I was taking 10 of them since then. And now I'm down to 7 of them, which they tell you each one you get off of is you're getting better. Long-term health, like they trust that you don't need the meds anymore. And these pills are the size of your toes. They're so huge and they're hard to swallow. I'm down to 7 and I got rid of one today. I was excited about it. And that guy got out of the hospital in 6 days after heart surgery. I was in there for 30 days. I was in cardiac for 30 days. I was in the ICU for 7. That is no joke, those heart surgeries, I got to tell you. And I also know that if you're a heart surgeon, and you're good looking and have a Rolex and a tan and a thick head of hair, that there's potential for your wife to sleep with the doctor and leave you. Are we on the air?
I think there's always some potential for that. That's for sure.
And
look, this isn't not a competition. The main thing is that you both got out and you're both fine. That's what it all comes down to.
I didn't get a call in OV 895 though with Joe Beninati.
Yeah. That is true. And look, very few people get to do that. And that, luckily, I'm glad that they still had the local broadcast there in D.C. because, as you know, the game was national as well on TNT.
Right.
And Kenny made that call. So guys like us in New York area had to watch Kenny on TNT. But you know what it's like to get your own local call. And I'm glad that the Capital fans in D.C., nothing against Kenny, but I'm glad that they got to hear Joe make the call. Because that's outstanding.
So
you want
Kenny,
your own guy to do with.
I heard Kenny doing the game. So I went to the Garden yesterday for the Knicks game. Did Kenny call that game too? Did he go from the hockey game to the NBA? Did he do a double yesterday?
Have a clip. Unless he did the radio, because I got a clip later, and I know it's Breen doing the Knicks game on MSG last night. So I'm pretty sure he did not go over there. But let me tell you,
in the best seats ever there that I've ever sat in.
Wouldn't shock me. I saw you had really good seats. We're going to see that later on here on Coast to Coast. We'll check it out.
Pretty good.
So we'll talk more about Ovi later. I have a few other things with that. Let's get into tonight because you're going to talk to Coach in a little while in a couple segments. So let's start to talk about this national championship game that we are going to have between Houston and Florida. How about that? This is it tonight in San Antonio, all the way down to the final two. We'll begin by talking about the Duke meltdown. Houston beat them 70-67 on Saturday night. 5th largest comeback in Final Four history. So they were down 14 with 8:03 to go. They were down 9 with 2:06 to go. They were down 6 with 34 seconds to go. They were down 3 with 25 seconds to go. They were down 1 with 19 seconds to go. And yet they still found a way on Westwood One Sports.
Cryer's second free throw is good. 3-point game, 70-69. Houston by 3. 3.7 to go. Everybody runs down the floor. James, long pass down the floor. Cryer tips it. Loose. Knipple has it. Throws to Proctor. Heaves up a 3. No good. Houston from behind. 14 down to the national championship game. And for the first time since 1984, Houston will play for a men's basketball national championship.
Am I tripping? That dude said it was 70-69. Like, I'm not tripping. So anyway, 70-67. They missed the shot. Flag missed the shot, and that was that, right? So all I know is, I'll still say it. I have never seen anything like Indiana coming back from 13 down with 3 minutes to go. Now, you got to remember, like, they did this. They were down 14 with 8 minutes to go. Imagine being down 13 in a title game, not a semifinal, in the championship game, down 13 with 3 minutes to go, and you win. That is insanity. So nothing will ever top that for me. Although I will say, I thought that Saturday night, that was an epic meltdown. Like, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was sitting there just going, is this even possible? What is happening here? They couldn't hit a shot to save their ass. It was just unbelievable to me. And then when I watched the other one, I guess the only way I could describe it, Mike, was I was there. So it was different. I was sitting on the sideline at the scorer's table. I was, they had like, back then they had, I guess they still do, like 2 or 3 rows right at the scorer's table of media, right? So I was sitting right there when I watched Indiana chip away at this lead by Syracuse, and they did it with a lot of Syracuse missed field goals or free throws. In the end, like Cycli, Coleman missed the front end of the 1-and-1. Derek Coleman, that led to them getting the ball and going down and having the final possession. Alfred to Thomas, Thomas to Smart, Smart hits the baseline, Popper, and that was it. I still will stand by that game as the greatest comeback I've ever seen in my life. Down 13 with 3 minutes to go. This to me was an 8-minute to 10-minute meltdown of epic proportions, but it was a lot longer to me, so it wasn't as crazy. To me, this was like, okay, they can't make a shot, and then I was like, okay, they still haven't made a shot, and then I was like, okay, they're not going to blow this, are they? And then I was like, okay, they lose. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I couldn't believe it. They made 1 field goal over the last 10.5 minutes of the game. And I tweeted that. How about this? So I was worried about that number, that 5 and 4.5, 5.5, right. Laying it with them. So I ended up playing the Duke team total over 72.5. So you just think about that. They had 56 with 10 minutes to go, and I'm going, I'm in great shape here. And then they made 1 bucket the rest of the way. Loser. 67 points.
So I hit the 5 points. I thought Houston, they had played them to 3. I hit the 5 points. I got both winners wrong because I bet Auburn and Duke to win, and I bet Houston +5. So this game tonight is not what I wanted to see.
an impressive debut it was for Mackenzie Gore of the Washington Nationals. He ended up having the most strikeouts of anybody thus far in a Major League Baseball game this season. Buy or sell, George? Mackenzie Gore will be a top 15 fantasy baseball pitcher this season. Top 15. Buy or sell?
You know, these questions are made up by Sam Yarnell, our producer, man behind the glass here. Who's a Washington Nationals fan here? You ever get the feeling that he just made this where you have to say bye? All right, because top 15? Yeah, I think he'll be top 15. Come on, Sam, make it top 10. Make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe even top 5. Yeah, I think he's got the upside to be that. Once again, he is a good pitcher anyway. Once a top prospect here, you're pitching in a good pitcher's ballpark here. I think the upside is there for him to be much better than top 15. Top 5 may be pushing it, but I think he'll be inside the top 10. So yes, I am all on board the Mackenzie Gore train.
All right, yeah, I think that I am going to buy this too, man. I don't know. He's just, and again, it's not just that one start for me. I think I have the video somewhere. I was like literally sitting behind home plate for one of his starts in Palm Beach, and I was like, wow, like this guy's stuff looks really, really good. Yeah, I'm going to buy it too. I think he's a potential Cy Young Award candidate. As George said, you're dealing with bigger markets and bigger names with LA and some of the other teams. Arizona's got some great pitchers too. But I think he's definitely in the mix. And look, do I think he's a top 2 guy? No. Do I think he's a top 15 guy? Yes. I'll buy that. As his season, I think, is going to be a special one for him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, so what did John Shire have to say after that puppy?
Yeah, let's hear from the Duke head coach, of course. Epic meltdown by the Blue Devils. Here's Shire.
I mean, it's been a special ride that ended in a heartbreaking way. And frankly, the game, we did what we wanted to do. You know, I thought our guys did it, followed the game plan, controlled the game. We had the lead for 35 minutes. We're winning by 6 with 1:15 to go. And they made plays, and you got to give them a ton of credit. We didn't make those plays, and you go from some of the most special moments in the tournament to the most heartbreaking loss. And I'm not about to feel sorry for 1 second. These guys have done an incredible job. It's heartbreaking. It's incredibly disappointing. There's a lot of pain that comes with this.
It's just the worst. I mean, look, I don't care that Duke lost because I've never liked him. I've never been a Duke fan in my life. I've hated him my whole life. It's real simple. I'm an Indiana fan. It's just very simple, clear and cut, like steak. Okay, there's no mincing. I'm not rooting for them ever. But I really do like watching Cooper Flagg play. So I can't wait to watch him in the NBA and not be on Duke, to be honest with you. And what is amazing to me, Mike, is the numbers of Duke superstars that have played there since 2015 and 16, and they haven't won a single title.
Listen to this list of guys. You sent me this. Since 15-16, 0 titles. In fact, they haven't even made a title game. They've made Final Fours, but not the championship game on Monday night. Brandon Ingram, Luke Kennard, Jason Tatum, Marvin Bagley, Gary Trent Jr., Wendell Carter Jr., Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, Vernon Carey, Paolo Banchero, Mark Williams, Jared McCain, Cooper Flagg, and then, of course, the rest of these guys that they had here this season.
The whole NBA
no titles.
Played at Duke.
Some of the best.
And they haven't won one. That's amazing to me. And not only that, they haven't been in the final. That is more amazing to me than them losing to Houston. Listen, let's stop with all this nonsense. Houston's a great team. They got 34 wins. They mean business. They have literally, how many times did we say last week? Or the whole 3 weeks? They are the best defensive team in America with Duke, the two of them. And I just couldn't believe, I always said to you that Duke will just score more. They score more than everybody. They're going to figure it out, and they didn't.
Well, and look, and I think, and Sampson talked about this after the game, a huge point that I think got a little overlooked was in the past few years, Houston's had great teams. They've had 1 seeds, all this, and they haven't gotten it done. They've been a really bad free throw shooting team the last few years. And Sampson said they made it a point this year that all these guys were going to be ready for pressure situations from the free throw line, and they weren't going to lose a tournament game by missing free throws. And when that kid, I forget which kid it was, who was 63%, that went up there for that 1-and-1 towards the end of that game, and he banged both of them down. I mean, that's where it is right there. Those are the things, end of game situations,
right.
having guys who have been around, senior leadership, and working on it. They did all the right things in the last few moments of that game, and that's why they're playing tonight. And they'll be playing the Florida Gators, who beat Auburn 79-73.
And remember this, Mike, real quick, that they're
Yes.
going to get the Boozer twins are going there. So they're going to be right back where they were. They're going to be playing in the NCAA tournament in Carolina. They're going to make it through the first weekend. They're going to be in the regional semis and regional final. And then they're going to either win it and go to the Final Four again, or they won't. But they are going to be more loaded next year than they just were. Duke's going to be even better. I mean, these 2 kids coming in there, that's like having 2 Cooper Flags, the 2 Boozers.
It's true. They're going to have a great team. Again, they're Duke. I mean, they have a great team.
Automatic.
Every year they
Like,
got a great team.
Literally
so.
right now, I would say, right now, today, automatic Final Four Duke next year with the Boozer twins.
You know what happens tomorrow here on Coast to Coast, a tradition unlike any other. The day after a title is won, I'm sure I'll be giving you the odds for next year's championship.
Well, give me Duke.
And I'm sure Duke is going to be fairly high on that board. You'll talk with Coach about Florida. Of course, they're going to play Houston tonight. What a win by them in the second half that they played against Auburn in the first game.
Yeah, I thought Auburn piked as well.
Yes, they did. They absolutely did.
He'll never stop shooting a basketball the rest of his life. All he's going to do is become one of those old, famous ex-players that's in the Hall of Fame, that's a legend, that shows up at games, just like his dad did. His dad shows up at games. His dad was never as good as he is. And his brother is the lost soul. Like, they don't even care about his broke ass. This guy, Steph Curry, can play forever.
Ferrall, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Okay, what tools can you use to measure those things a bit? And that's where you have like force plates and 3D motion and launch monitors, things like that. But that's all just sort of like measuring what's happening. That doesn't necessarily explain why one guy's really good and another guy's not really good. And that's where there's still kind of like this ongoing, how do you like continue to do research to understand that better? And I think that's going to last well past my lifetime.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.